Good morning, everybody. Hi, Joy. Hi, Louise. Hi, Jill. Hi, Karen. All right, we're at Wentworth Falls Lake. Hi, Virginia. Actually, I should wait, shouldn't I? Because it takes a moment to unmute. So we've got a few minutes before we start. It's a bit breezy this morning, so there's a bit of a ripple on the lake. I'm going to start walking around to the other side so we can see the sunrise from as we walk east. Oh, I'm tired. That seasickness really took it out of me. Yesterday I felt washed out all day. Anyway, so I still feel tired this morning. Who's joined? Virginia, Sarah, Jem, John, and Queen Ariel. All right, let's start walking around. We're not leaving the sunrise. We're just seeing just different aspects, and as we walk we'll keep turning around and checking on it. But it's going to be a lovely morning. We've got some ducks hanging around over here next to this sculpture. As we come back towards the sculptures, we'll see them with the sun shining on them, so they'll look even more lovely. Oh, Sarah, thank you for joining me. I admire your dedication and commitment to seeing a sunrise in Australia. So the sun's glowing on these trees across the lake at the moment. Let's keep checking on what's happening over here. You just woke up, so you must be in Western Australia then. Look at that, isn't that pretty? That's so pretty. Anyway, we'll keep checking in on that. Let's walk. I saw a little moorhen over here. Is he still there? Oh yes. Here we go. And if you're in New Zealand, I think you call these guys pukeko. Is that right? There's some geese, or no, what are they? They're geese or big ducks. Not sure what they are. And I'm loving these birds up in the tree above me. I'm not sure what they are. Here we go. Grab another couple of postcards before I turn around and walk the other way. It's very pretty, isn't it? Sunrise is in about 15 minutes from now. So we're going to see it light up the landscape around us as we walk. But I'm going to head towards a little pontoon that's around in this direction, and then we'll head back around the lake and have the sun in our frame for the whole time, mostly, that we walk. Just wondering what that bird was. How's the sound? It's a bit breezy. I'm hoping that my little MacGyver hack is working and cutting the crackle. What have we got over here? Are they just ducks? Possibly. Let's have a look. Zoom in on these guys. I think they might be just ducks. Yeah, we've got a whole gaggle of ducks over there. All right, it's just ticked over time. I'm not allowed to go that way. They've got the path blocked off. That's okay. So good morning to everybody else who's joined. Who have I got? Is that Saba and Kate? Let me turn the camera around. Hi everyone, my name's Lynn, and We're meeting today at Wentworth Falls Lake. So it's just ticked over 5:45 a.m. Sunrise is in about 15 minutes from now. So we're going to get that lovely glow, morning glow across the landscape as we walk around the shore of the lake. Before we begin, I'd just like to acknowledge that we are meeting today on the traditional lands of the Turulk and Gundungurra people and pay respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. Lynn, Queen Ariel, my name is Lynn and my channel is Explore with Lynn. So let's head off, shall we? I forgot to check what the temperature is, but it's quite comfortable this morning. Let's have another little shot over here before I keep walking west, heading west, and then we'll turn back around and have this view in our frame for the remainder of the walk, heading back. Okay, so I've just noticed that the path's blocked over here, so they're doing some work at this point, which just means we have to cut across the grass. Pedestrians, go this way. So we're going to get some nice reflections on the lake. Although it's a bit breezy, there still will be some lovely reflections across the water. I'm not sure what they're doing here. I think there was like a little boat ramp that went in there. Possibly they've closed it off. Did I say good morning, Camillo? Hi. Osaba. You used to live in Perth. Where do you live now? I think I said good morning, Camillo. Gosh, I'm forgetful. and Jay Taylor, is it? All right, so you live in Hungary. Good morning, Sue. Okay, let's just turn around and keep an eye on that sky. I've allocated 40 minutes to this tour, Queen Ariel. Favourite part about living in Australia, gosh. I love the landscape. I love the nature. Where I live in the Blue Mountains, it's lovely to get out in the bush, do walks, and we've got lots and lots of lookouts and waterfalls and dramatic views. But I also really love our cosmopolitan society. Where I used to live in Sydney, there was a whole mixture of culture in my neighbourhood. Everything from Vietnamese to Indian, Sri Lankan, Chinese, Korean. And it was wonderful, all living side by side with all these different cultures. Ducks everywhere. Any ducks? Haven't seen any cockatoos yet this morning. Normally they're loud and squawky around here. So we're seeing the opposite shore lighting up with a little bit of sun glow across the way. I'll describe that when we get round to the pontoon. Looks like we've had a bit of a storm through here. There's a hell of a lot of debris is washed down from the road right across the path down towards the lake. So you live in Hungary now. That's really interesting. It's a country that I didn't manage to get to when I was living in Europe, living in the UK. We can smell the bush here. It's really pungent. It's not the eucalyptus leaves I can smell. It's a different plant. possibly a mint bush. It's quite a pungent aroma. No problem at all. No, what I meant was that in Sydney, there's, I think, almost every country in the world is represented in Sydney, and we have little enclaves. So I lived in a part of Sydney called Homebush. I'm just listening to those birds, and as I said, we used to have a lot of Indian, a lot of Sri Lankan, Vietnamese, Korean, and their restaurants and their supermarkets and all the different interesting food. And I used to love shopping in those supermarkets and discovering different kinds of food and, trying to find out how to use them. Why can't you join properly? Joy, what sort of problem are you having? Maybe the other voyagers can help you out. Homebush, yes, there's the Olympic Stadium was not far from where we lived. Sydney Olympic Park. And so there was the main arena, the Olympic pool, the tennis stadium, what else was there? There was a whole bunch of stadiums around that area. Five Dock's lovely. It's predominantly Italian, if I recall, around Five Dock. So here we are at the little pontoon, and the signal does drop here slightly, so we won't stay here too long. But I just wanted to show you the lovely view from this angle, from this side of the lake. And Wentworth Falls Lake used to be just a watercourse. We're surrounded by hanging swamp. So over here on the hillside here is what's known as hanging swamp. I just saw a little fish jump. And apparently there's more water in that hillside than there is in the lake itself. So it's like a big sponge, and it filters the water. Okay, no problem. We support everybody, Queen Ariel, so no problem at all. Share as much or as little as you feel comfortable with. So as I was saying, this was turned into a lake by damming it, and that was to provide a water supply for the steam trains as they passed through the Blue Mountains, and it was built in the 1800s. So let's start walking back towards where the sun is going to pop over the hill in this direction. But it's a little bit more sheltered around here, so less wind, and the reflections are a little bit calmer. Who else joined? Did I see anybody else? Your ex-husband is Italian Australian. There's lots of them, Sarah. And hi, Corinne. So for those who aren't aware, the day before yesterday, I attempted to do a whale watching tour. And Corinne knows, it was a 3-metre swell, and I didn't do too well. I tried. I was sitting at the front of the boat with the wind and the spray in my face, but that wasn't enough. I managed 20 minutes. Managed 20 minutes before I had to cut the tour and make a run for it. I spent the next 2 hours with my head in a paper bag and leaning on a table. It was really rough. So apparently there were whales sighted, and it was really frustrating hearing the crew announcing the sightings, and I couldn't even lift my head off the table. It was oh dear. Anyway, so yesterday I took the day off. I had a tour planned, but I was denied permission to stream, which just meant that I got a lovely outing with my daughter. So that was a little bit of a reprieve and a way of recomposing myself. Sorry, I'm missing a few comments. Let's get back to what's being said. Thanks for the follow, Saba. Yeah, so hi Noonie, hi Abe, Sarah. In answer to your question, a lot. I was very sick, but I wasn't the only one. There was, I think, about 80 people on the boat, and in the downstairs cabin where I was sitting, there were, I guess, about a dozen tables, and every single one of them had two people with their head down. It was terrible. So today I get an opportunity to get out in the fresh air at this lovely spot with you all. Alrighty. Queen Ariel, we totally sympathise and support your situation, and thank you for sharing. But we might hold off on sharing any more links if that's okay, just because we'll keep the chat related to Wentworth Falls Lake, if possible. But that's fine. And as I said, we support everyone here. All right, so I want to show you some of these sculptures and explain what these are about. So back in 2001, I think it was, a number of sculptors were invited to create a project for the Lakeside Walk, and these are all based on local native flora and their supersized seed pods or new life for plants. So this one here, for instance, is the silky purple flag, and it's the seed of the silky purple flag. Now I'm going to show you in the chat what a silky purple flag looks like, if I can remember where to find it. Where are we? Silky purple flag is this one here. Great, and I've got a little visitor come to say hello. I'm sure the ducks probably get fed, and this guy is probably expecting something from me, but you're not going to get anything because it's not good to feed you. Just letting you know. So yes, this is the this one is based on the silky purple flag, and we're going to see more of these sculptures as we walk around the edge of the lake. Let me just go over waterside and see what this sun is looking like. Oh, thank you, Corinne. I'm always very grateful for your generous support. I'm not sure what they've done here. They've created some sort of little wall of some sort. I'm not sure what the purpose is. Who's joined? Hi, Carol. Hi, Reem. And hi, Helen. Was there anyone else I missed? No, that's fine. That's everyone. So here's another aspect of the hillside across the lake, and we're starting to see the sun light up the tips of the leaves on the eucalyptus trees over there. So this was an important meeting place for the Indigenous people before colonisation. And when the stream was dammed to create this lake, it had a huge impact on local Aboriginal life. We're going to pass by some of the information boards, and I'll give you the opportunity to take postcards of those, which will give you more information. This is a new playground that's just been installed here in the last couple of years, and they've added accessibility activities as well, which is really good to see. So these swings are aimed at wheelchair users. And they've incorporated wood, which is also good to see. The less plastic, in my view, the better. And this one is sort of like a totem pole. Let's see if I can figure out what is it a lizard, I think, that's been carved onto the side of that? I might go in there and have a look at it. Oh yeah, okay. I'm not sure if you can see because of the contrast, but that's some sort of a lizard or goanna that's been carved onto this pole. A little bit difficult to see, so I'm not going to go vertical on it. I don't think there's much point, unless you ask me to. Do you want me to? Well, that's a good point too, Sarah. Yeah. Although I don't think it takes away from the area. Hi, is that Renard? It's a nice playground. Yes, it is. It's beautiful. And okay, let's go vertical then. I think that's a yes, please, to the vertical. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And I'll walk around it slightly. Just trying to get better lighting for you because the contrast is not ideal. There we go. Okay, and now I'm going back. 1, 2, 3. Thanks for the follow, Joy. And if there's anybody else who isn't already following me and would like to see more tours from this part of the world, just hit that follow button at the top of your screen. No problem at all, Queen. Shall I just call you Queen or Queen Ariel? What do you prefer? You can see from here across the side of the lake is reeds and grasses on the lakeside there. Let's just zoom in on those. That's quite pretty there. Okay, no problem. Let's zoom out again and keep walking and look for some more of these sculptures. I've just come across one of the first of the information boards. So this is telling you about the swamp itself and describing what I was attempting to describe a moment ago, that it's like a giant filter. So let me get an angle for you where it's good for taking a postcard, and you can come back and have a look at that later. But it also shows some of the wildlife around the area. So we've got dragonflies, we've got water skinks, various honey eaters, and then the small creatures as well, which are really important to the quality of the water, including the freshwater crayfish. And this talks about the hanging swamp, and that's a feature of the Blue Mountains. There's lots of them. Okay, let's keep walking. Lots of ducks out today. Here we go. Lots of ducks. So here's the second sculpture. To be honest, I've forgotten what they all are, so I have to read the sign myself. Okay, so this is the Callistemon, which is the bottle brush. They look happy, they certainly do. So this is the crimson bottle brush, and they are coming out right now in the Blue Mountains and looking stunning. They're used all along the main highway, down through the centre of the highway. I must get you a photo at some point, but we'll see them eventually along here. Let me show you what that looks like for anyone who doesn't know what the red bottle brush looks like. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful plant, and that's the seed that we're looking at from the red bottle brush, the crimson bottle brush. And another common plant along here, we'll see the sculpture for it, I think, is this fern. And the sculpture is literally the unfurling of the fern tip. So we're going to keep an eye out for that one there. Is it focusing? It looks like it's having trouble focusing. Stop blowing around in the wind. There we go. But you might be able to see the actual tips of the fern leaf unfurling. And when we see the sculpture, that's what it represents. I'm having trouble finding them all today. I think there's about 15 of these sculptures scattered around. Let's have a look at the sky. The sky's still lovely colour. We've got about 15 minutes left, Queen Ariel. This one over here is the acacia, or what we commonly call a wattle. So this is the seed pod of the wattle. And let me see, do I have that one? Ah, yes, there it is. The golden wattle. And the wattle is the national flower of Australia. It comes out at the end of winter. See if I can find an angle that hides the little plaque. There we go, that's better. Hay fever, synonymous with hay fever. A lot of people suffer from hay fever around wattle. Indeed. All right, what's this one about? Acknowledgement of country. So when I started today, I gave what's called an acknowledgement of country, which means that I acknowledge that we're standing on the traditional lands of the Darug Gundanga, I can never say it, Gundungara people, and that is depicted here. So to the south of us we have the Darawal, to the north of us we have the Guringai and the Darkinjung, and to the west of us we have the Wiradjuri. And that's a little bit about the acknowledgement of country. Yes, I don't react to wattle, but a lot of people do. What's this one over here? I've forgotten what this one is. I don't have images for all the flowers either. All right, so this one is, Lambertia formosa. Okay, so this one is known as the mountain devil. And with any luck, we may actually see why it's called a mountain devil. But the flower itself, well, actually, I do have a picture of it. This is the flower, the first one, and the second one is the seed pod. And you can see from the second one the little devil's horns and the snout. So that's why it's called a mountain devil. It's a really pretty flower, and it's a big honey producer. The birds love it. And this is a little bit about the sculpture trail. Oh, I've gone down to 1 bar. Okay, so I'll keep moving. But this one tells you a little bit about the sculpture trail. Thanks for that, Queen Ariel. Yep, no problem at all. We won't linger too long at the toilet block. And this is a map of Wentworth Falls Lake itself. So you can see the train line. The train line is here, and the lake was created to provide water for the steam trains. Okay. And we have another one of these sculptures. This is the Banksia. Old man Banksia. I'm going to tilt down a bit because it looks like there's rubbish in it, which is sad. Thank you, Sarah. Hi, Adele. Old man Banksia. Do I have an image of Old man Banksia? I don't think I do, but we'll find one. We'll see one. I'm sure of it. And I'll point it out when we see it. Okay, where are the next sculptures? There's a couple over here. Here we go. Here's a pretty shot of the sun lighting up my car. All right, so we've got another one of these sculptures here, which I can see 4 or 5 in this vicinity. And this one is Tilapia species. I can't even say that. This is the Waratah. So that's what the seed of the Waratah looks like. And I love how it's also filled with water after the rain we've just had. And I don't think I have a picture of a Waratah either. Sorry about that, folks. I really need to add a picture of the Waratah because it's so beautiful. And they are out at the moment and looking stunning in the bush. If you hop onto the Hago Voyages Facebook group later on, I'll make sure I pop some photos of Waratahs into the group for you. This one here is from a plant called drumsticks. And I'm pretty sure I do have this one. Oh no, I don't have that one either. Goodness me. I've got about 8 pictures in my in my media, and I'm not finding the sculptures that match the pictures I've got. Anyway, it's a lovely walk, isn't it? I'm pretty sure I've got this one. This is the tea tree. They do. They've weathered nicely. They started out as, oh look, we've got little ducklings. Little family, little duck family here. And so, yes, this is, oh no, this is the narrow-leaf peppermint. So let me see, I do have that one. Where are we? That's this one here. Very pretty flower. I want to show you what the sun's looking like across the water right now. It's really starting to glow. Here come the cockatoos. I knew they'd turn up eventually. That's pretty. Lovely. And here's some more of these ferns unfurling that I described earlier. But we haven't seen that sculpture yet. All right, this is actually perfect. We've got the sun just coming over the top of the hill with the little wharf and this beautiful sculpture in the foreground. Oh, don't talk to me about rain, Rhonda. We've had so much rain this year. In fact, October was the all-time record and we haven't even finished October yet. All right, let's see how I can frame this. Maybe something like that. And if we walk around this side, this is actually really surprising. It's the common rush, and I'll show you a picture of that in a moment. But let's see it with the sun on it first. Noisy cockatoos. Noisy cockatoos, they've all just turned up. Okay, so this is a common sedge, which is literally just a grass. So we've probably got the smallest seed possible has been turned into one of the most impressive sculptures on the trail. And there's a little moorhen, just sort of actually no, I think that one's a coot. That's not a moorhen, that's a coot. And look at all these cockatoos that have turned up. How close will they let me get to them? Natural bird baths. Let's see how close they'll let me get. Hi, Cheryl. Sorry about the garbage bin in the background, but that's where the cockatoos decided to land. All right, we've got this guy up in the tree. Maybe we can get in nice and close to him. No, okay. They're moving around a little bit too much. It's okay. I'm not gonna hurt you guys. Just stay still for me for a moment longer. Anyway, you might get a nice cockatoo in flight postcard. There's a couple up in the tree here. You stay still for me. See if we can stay still for... Okay, no. All right, let's keep walking. What have we got here? What's this one? Okay, that one's called the pine leaf geebung. I don't have a picture of that either. We'll have a look for it when we get up to the bush. We're going to cross the dam wall. I might go a few minutes over. I'm going to cross the dam wall up ahead, and then there's a little bush track just across the lake over there, and we'll finish up over the other side. So that's where we're most likely to see the banksia and the drumstick and the geebung. Let's get you a nice picture here. Just with the sun glowing on the little jetty. It's lighting it up beautifully at the moment, and I'm just letting a couple of ladies pass with walking their dog, so I don't intrude on them. It's going to be a lovely day today, and if you're still around a couple of hours from now, what time is it now? We've got just trying to work it out. I started at 5:45, 6:15. Must be getting close to 6:30. In about 4 hours from now, I'm going to be back out at Flat Rock, which is a tour I've done several times now. Yeah, so that's a much more civilized time for you, isn't it, Sarah? So yeah, as I said, we're going to go about 5 minutes over what I'd originally intended. So this is the dam wall, and as I mentioned, it stopped the flow or created the lake of a natural stream, which was a meeting place for the local Indigenous people. They would find their food and water from this location, and then when the lake was created, it totally disrupted their way of life. Oh, it's windy up here. Hi, Kerry. So they've built a little boardwalk on this side of the lake, and there's actually just around that bend there's a tiny little natural beach. The water for a time was not suitable for swimming in, but now it's much cleaner. Let me just turn around and have a look at the lake for you from this point. And you can see that big sculpture just on the water's edge there. Oh, there's a little bit of a chill in that breeze. Whew. Nice way to start the day, though. Bit of brisk, fresh air. So the lake is stocked, I believe, with trout. You can go fishing here. And this is the spillway. So we'll just go down these steps. I can see that my signal has dropped again, so this little cute little bridge. Cute little wooden bridge here. Yeah, sure. Hold on a second, Sarah. Let's just do that. It's only a small stream. There we go. It flows down. Flows actually down between some houses a little bit further down the road. And here's the boardwalk. Now, this is the Old Man Banksia that I mentioned before. So I'm going to get in a little bit closer. I think there's another one a little bit further around. But that's Old Man Banksia. Banksia serrata, indicating that the leaves are that sawtooth shape. And it's sitting next to, I think this is the Lambertia famosa, the one with the mountain devil, the one with the red flower. And these are the big seed pods. No definite time, Queen Ariel. I'll finish in a few minutes. Not very long. And here's your purple silky flag just over here. Hasn't opened up. I literally just came over here to see some of the plants in their natural habitat that were described in those sculptures. This one's not in flower yet, but this is the drumstick. Okay, we'll just go a little way along here and then I'll finish up. There's a sort of a little viewing platform at this point. So Jane joined and I missed you. Hi Jane, how you going? So yeah, we can see across the other side of the lake there, the sun's really glowing beautifully on the eucalyptus trees and creating a little bit of a reflection in that sheltered part of the lake. And I'm just looking for two more plants that were described in those sculptures for you, and then we'll finish up just around the bend. This one wasn't, but it's pretty. Little yellow and red pea flower. Here's the drumstick. Okay, so do you recall that we saw one of their sculptures was called the drumstick? That's it there. Really unusual looking flower. There we go. And I was hoping to see one other, but it doesn't look like I'm going to be in luck today. So what I'll do is I'll just walk around the corner here to the little natural beach and we'll finish up there. It is lovely with the light. Oh, here's another one of these purple silky flags. Again, it's not open. And I'm having trouble getting it in focus, so we'll give that a miss. That path up there leads to a couple of bed and breakfast accommodation. This is a different kind of banksia. You can see how different the leaves are. And that's the seed pod just in the back there. And I think this is the mountain devil, but there's no flowers. Oh yes, there it is. There's the seed pod. So there's the little horned devil. Let me see. Can I get in close on that? Where is he? Do you see it there? There's your little devil's horns. All right. And we'll finish up with some lovely colours reflected on the water just around the corner here. So I know this is not your adrenaline junkie kind of tour. I hope it was a lovely way to spend almost an hour with me. And as I said, in a few hours from now, I'll be up at Flat Rock, Lincoln Rock, for an incredible part of the Blue Mountains. Stunning views from up there, and it's a gorgeous day. So definitely recommend joining me for that one if you're able to. But let's just finish up here with this lovely, lovely view. Thank you, Karen. I'm glad you all enjoyed it. Just a very gentle stroll. I'm going to turn the camera around on me to say goodbye, and then we'll come back and have a look at the view to finish off. All right, so you can see I'm sunburnt from a couple of days ago, all red in the face. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a beautiful walk, lovely day today. I've really enjoyed it, and I hope you did too. And hopefully some of you might be able to join me in a few hours' time up at Lincoln's Rock. Okay, where's the beach? Oh, it's just over there. I'll take you there. Calling it a beach is a bit of a stretch, to be honest. There's actually two. There's this tiny little one over here, and then across the water is where some of the kids swim. But here we go. Here's the beach. And I'll finish up by just slowly panning around this side, a very quiet corner of the lake. So just across the lake over there is where some of the kids swim from. Alrighty, thank you so much everybody, and I'll see you again on another tour. Bye for now.